And then I stayed there for a couple of months. And then within 3 months of being in that town, a major hurricane happened in Haiti. Like that was the worst hurricane in century in Haiti. It was bad. And then the town I was in was on the climax of that hurricane. Like I'm talking about 5,000 out of 6,000 homes were destroyed or badly damaged in that town. People losing a bunch of stuff. And then it's funny, whenever someone heard I'm going to Haiti, you should follow me because I'm always there when you have the worst disaster. So I'm going from an earthquake, now I'm in a hurricane. 10 years later, well, like 6 years later, I'm in the middle of the worst hurricane we know of in Haiti, and I'm in the middle of it, and my house is like shaking 140 miles per hour when the home was flooded. My prosthetic leg was tossed and done away with. I mean, it was another death and life situation for me. And that experience pushed me to help those people more after the hurricane. So at that point, I still didn't want to run a nonprofit. I never wanted to do nonprofit. I just hate it. I wanted to do business as my way to help people. But that led me to start rebuilding Haiti because so many friends in the US wanted to help me make a difference. And then I pray, and then I use my entrepreneurial mind to say, how can I help after this hurricane? And then that gave me a vision. God said, well, most of these people lose their homes. And those homes are very small, poor people's homes, and then the most important things to those homes is the roof, because they are modern stone walls homes. So they use modern stone to build the wall for most of them. So the only thing really they have to buy is the roof, is the sheet metal for the roof. So, and then the wood, they go to the road and they cut trees and they put the wood. So I tell those people, so I said, okay, what about if I start rebuilding those homes and get those people out of the elements and out of the rain with their children? And then I started a GoFundMe page. I tell people, here's how much I need from you to rebuild. I think it was like $700 to put a roof on a home. And then I want to do 50 of those, and within 24 hours, I raised nearly $10,000 on that GoFundMe page. And a lawyer friend of mine just helped me set up a nonprofit real fast. We get 501c3 status in less than a month, again, which is God's grace. And then we had a nonprofit set up. And then, within 3 to 4 months, I put roof on 700 homes. Wow. 700 homes. And then I was like, look, I could be in Wall Street right now, making the most out of, or I could be a top entrepreneur in the US right now, making millions of dollars, building the next unicorn or the next, multi-billion-dollar startup in Silicon Valley. But what I'm doing right now, I think is so much more valuable. Less than a year after college, I just put roof on 700 homes, feeding so many poor kids, providing over 100,000 kids of meals and all this stuff, and like water purification and all that, it was worth it. The bottom line to that is God know better, right? And he was calling me, he was preparing me. To summarize that whole experience in Haiti, that was just within my first year. So I've been in Haiti in the last 4 years. It was one after another, me going from, I was a pastor at some point, I was a full-time missionary at some point, experienced all that as part of God's plan for me. And 4 years later, now I can say to you, Brett, I still don't know, I still have a lot to learn, but I didn't know as much as I thought I knew about helping people and doing good. But I think probably it's still God's plan for me to be a very successful businessman and help that way. But I think I had to spend those 4 years to learn. At some point, I gave up my entirety of my stipend. My board here in Indiana didn't want to accept that, but I told them I don't feel I need it. I gave up the entirety of my stipend so I can help those kids more. In my last year running that ministry, I had zero income, not even a living stipend. Not because I wanted to be the next big humanitarian. I just feel a call. I don't need money. I don't have kids. I don't have anything. I'm in Haiti. And God provided for me. I never had to ask anyone. I never lacked anything. God provided for me. I always had food. I always had everything. I was in Haiti. I was sleeping literally in a bunker. I could have rented a nice house and have a nice life. And I could have. And I didn't need much money for that because, and a lot of my donors would be very happy to help me have that decent life. But I chose to live in a house where I barely had running water. I remember I was there for months sleeping. All I had at my house was a mattress and then 4 cinder blocks. I didn't even have anything else. I mean, it could have cost me $100 a month to turn on my generator to have light at night, but most nights I didn't even have light. It was just, but I didn't need it though. I was not sacrificing anything because there was so much purpose in the work I was doing with the people, and there was so much impact that I didn't need anything else to be happy. And I was comfortable. and now here I am, everything is turning around. I've been building a children's center. I tried different micro loan projects, different farming projects. Now I'll tell you one thing, Brett, what is bringing me to business school is, first of all, I believe that God have all the resources I need, but God wants to work with the church, want to work with people. And I think part of it is, a lot of people like what I do and believed in me. But how do I say that? It's I don't know. I feel like there are so many. I'm looking at the long-term future of what God is calling me to do, and I feel like probably me doing this, what I'm doing right now, will make it easier for me to help. And I'm not discount, and that's why I didn't want to come to business school, because I'm like, well, probably I don't trust God to provide, but God literally pushed me to business school and pushed me out of Haiti and drive me here, and even getting in investment banking. It's all the odds were against me. Most people probably in business will understand that getting to a top investment banking job in New York City is one of the hardest things to do. I mean, they will, it's harder to get there than to get to Harvard University. So it's so competitive. But God gave me my top choice bank, my top choice group, and on top of that, most people go to investment banking so they can get in hedge fund or private equity. And I already have a private equity internship offer before I even start my investment banking internship. So, and it's, to look at all that and how God is working. When it was time for me to do the business part of it, He planned it. It get to a point where I realized, well, I shouldn't do it because it might be just me. Mm-hmm. But He planned it, He's organizing it, and He's putting me here. And my goal, my goal is to use that. My goal is to use that to make this world a better place. I keep telling myself, and I'm trying to see what can I do to be accountable, that the only reason I'm doing this is so I can help more people, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks again, Ralf, for sharing, and you've done so many different things, and it's amazing. And I have just a couple of questions, just to kind of backtrack a little bit. So number one, you went to Haiti for 4 years, and you were doing all these different things. You lived in a home, you didn't turn on your electricity, and you were putting roofs on houses. You were a pastor for a while, a missionary, and you said that you needed to do that to learn something, right? So tell the Americans out there, so, most of the people that listen to our show are Americans, and what did you learn, right? Because a lot of people that do listen to our show have a heart. They want to help people. They like to give. They like to give to Haiti, for example, and help. But what's something that you learned? Like, how do you help, I guess?
Yeah, I will say you empower people. I did before I ran this nonprofit in the last 4 years. I kind of hated nonprofit, right? I didn't think it was doing anything good. Now, in the last 4 years, I've been proven to be wrong, right? But I'm not completely wrong. So we need nonprofit, and we need what nonprofit does, and we need charity. We need handout. We need handout. I'm saying this. I'm not saying we need handout. That's what the solution to the world's problem. No, that's not the solution. But there is time we need it. It has its place. But this is not the long-term solution to the world problem. The long-term solution is to empower people. You see, a guy like me, like if we are focusing on empowering people in Haiti, I would not need to come here and go to business school and get wealth myself to help people, because there is so many wealth going down to Haiti. I mean, fighting a Haitian that a lot of people trust me, I have good credential, I have a good education from America, and I give all that up to go to Haiti. And there are so much resources there. So if we were empowering Haitian to help Haitian, so much I would not even have to ask, because I'm not doing this for myself. I'm helping society. The resources, people trying to make an impact, finding the right people to empower. So empowerment. So when I was in Haiti, the reason I can be here and everything is still working, the church is working, everything is working, because I focus on empowering the locals to do what I'm doing. And that's what they are doing right now. And even that's why I focus more on business, creating jobs and providing loans to people and coaching. Because, I can go to the financial market, or I can invest my money and there's so much less risk. There's so much more risk to do business in Haiti, but I'm telling you, there is so much more opportunity. I'm talking from experience, because I was in Haiti, people spotted me. Even the president wanted me to come to the palace to meet with him. Different people in Haiti, business people and politicians, and wanted to work with me. I mean, I even go to the White House, and I even met different people in that spectrum as well in the U.S. side in Washington D.C. So I had so much because of my potential. I had so much opportunity to do very, very well for myself, but I had to stay true to my calling. And also, to say true to, I always remind myself, I leave all those great opportunities to come to Haiti, not to raise the most money, not to have the biggest nonprofit, but to do the right thing. So I had so much opportunity in the nonprofit world I had to turn down, not because I think they were bad, I would not say that, but because I didn't think that my calling is to empower people. That's where I find more, again, I'm not bashing a nonprofit. Everybody have their call, but that's my call because so many people don't realize that. Business is the way. And I'm not saying going there just give, I'm going to give some loan to those people to help them. That's nice. But I think it's win-win business situation. Building a nice investment company, like working for Bank of America right now, and literally at some point bring them to Haiti. Mm-hmm. And we're providing loan with interest. Now, not as bad interest loan as those, some of the, there are some very predatory loan system in Haiti where they are slashing the poor with high interest, over 100% interest loan. Mm-hmm. I don't want to judge them because probably the risks are so good. But in my experience, for very reasonable interest, very low interest, we can provide loan to people. People want to work, creating jobs. Those are the opportunity. Building a for-profit investment company and go there and create job and create business opportunity, not just for Haiti, in the minority community in America, in other countries around the world. And I think and even corporate America is catching up on that. Even Wall Street is catching up on that. Most people tend to think bad things about Wall Street, but Wall Street, they're catching up on that. I met a guy, he was leading the Black Pathway at JP Morgan. I mean, he was a top managing director, and trying to taking investment to Black and minority community instead of taking, welfare all the time, mm-hmm. right?
No, I think that's a great word. You said empower people, and you said, handouts, there's a place for that, right? You have to feed kids that don't have anything to eat, right? So they can survive. But really it comes down to how can you empower people living there to create businesses, to create jobs. And that's what I love about you. And that's what we talk a lot about is, we create business as missions. Your business out there can be a missionary business. Thank you so much for checking out the Brett Snodgrass channel. If you like this video, please slam on that like button. And if you really like it, then subscribe to our channel here. And remember to leave us a comment below, and I'm going to try my hardest to reply to all the comments. Thank you guys so much. This is why I do what I do. Every single week, I come out with content that focuses on success, freedom, and living out your purpose. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.